What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today guys, we're going to be discussing one of the most controversial parts of the 6.0 Powerstroke, that is the cylinder head design. We're getting started right now. As always though, shameless merch plug guys, Teespring, get your stuff below, affiliate links down in the description as well. Let me know what you guys are looking for, I'll help you guys get links. Shout out to our sponsors DSC and of course TurboTime USA, TurboTime USA affiliate link, 6.0 Bros, or code not link down in the description. 5% off your turbos. Guys, stay tuned for what DSD and I are going to be working on. Okay, why you guys actually came and clicked on this video is we're going to talk about 6.0 Powerstroke cylinder head design and why I feel that the factory cylinder head is garbage. It's really bad. Anyway, fortunately we have solutions to that. We'll get into that in a little bit, but let's talk about the problems of the factory cylinder head. So you have the factory cylinder head, which was made of iron, which wasn't super uncommon at the time, but there were people making it out of better materials like aluminum. I'm looking at you, Duramax, which those of you that are gonna hate on aluminum, guess what? Everybody uses it today in their cylinder heads in the diesel market, so you're gonna have to get over that. Anyway, so that's not where I take my biggest beef with the factory cylinder head design. It's really that as a cost-cutting measure, instead of putting in pressed-in valve seats, International decided that they were going to harden the factory iron. You have two things. It gives you great wear resistance, or properties I should say, which is great because we have a high-performance engine. We need that wear resistance to get some longevity out of it. People talking about longevity in a 6-liter in the same sentence. Just doesn't seem right. Anyway, so moving on, we have that wear characteristic we're looking for, but what it did do is it also made it very brittle, which makes it prone to cracking. So you hear people talk about cracks in a factory cylinder head are normal. For the record, they're not. Now there are cracks you can get away with and still run the factory head, that's one thing, but basically what's happening is they're starting to split, and they will eventually split into a water jacket, and then it'll leak that into your cylinder itself. I was gonna say cylinder head again. So this is a big problem. Now there are some fixes for this with the factory head, is you can have that area machined out and you can have a pressed-in valve seat, what they should have done in the first place, which is a pretty good way to do it. But I will warn you, rebuilding a factory head correctly is a relatively expensive endeavor. Just don't look for somebody to rebuild this correctly and have $500 into it. You're probably going to be looking at not too far off from $2,000 the last time I looked at a good machine shop with a great reputation for rebuilding these. Now I will say this, it doesn't also guarantee that you're going to avoid the cracked cylinder head issue that the 6.0 is known for. For some reason people act like it's not a thing. They get really defensive about this, but it is most definitely a thing. It happened to me and it's happened to numerous other people out there. I do think there's some cheap fixes out there that I'm not a big fan of. Bulletproof Diesel has for the cracked injector. It's typically not the cup, it's that area in there. They have a longer cup that kind of seals that off, that you basically can kind of cement in, and then you have to change part of the injector body out to fit in there. It works. It doesn't not work. I just don't like it. However, if you're looking for a way to not have to go through a crazy process, it isn't a terrible idea either. It's just not one that makes me feel all great. Moving on to probably the single biggest issue with the factory 6.0 cylinder head is it's 4 bolts per cylinder. Now they went to a larger bolt than was seen on the 7.3, because I know somebody in the comments is going to talk about the 7.3 and how it's the greatest engine that ever made. We hear you guys. You're a very loud bunch. You're incorrect, but you're a loud bunch. So it was a cost-cutting measure. I don't care what anyone says. I've heard people try to defend this action from International or Navistar, whatever you want to call them. But at the end of the day, it was them trying to sell a product for more money and cut costs to make said product. That is all it was. They also did it again in the 6.4 when they went to an even larger bolt and still had issues. I can only imagine these guys, like, it didn't work and somebody in the back of that conference room goes, we just need a larger bolt. Fix all the problems. Don't even get me started on 6.4 problems. I don't have enough time today. Moving on, so this was a huge issue. So what this has caused is a lot of issues in head gasket reliability. Typically, if you have a 6-liter, it's not normally if you're going to blow them, it's when it's going to happen. Now, there's a lot of guys out there that are running crazy miles that have far exceeded the life expectancy of the factory cylinder head or gasket. But let's be real, guys, it happens a lot. And just to equally throw shade at everybody here, Cummins, Duramax guys, Stop acting like you don't blow head gaskets, because I've been at diesel shops where I see you guys just as much as I see 6.0s. I do need to say in their defense, it's slightly less, but let's stop acting like it's not an issue for you guys too. So anyway, the original fix for this used to be you got ARP head studs, I forget, are they like 425s or something, 450s, something like that is the original ARP head stud. It's like their standard upgrade over the factory design, and that did significantly increase the reliability in these. The issue does lie in crappy machine work. I've seen a lot of jobs where people didn't prep block correctly, didn't prep the head gasket correctly, and they still have these same reliability issues, but that's poor workmanship, not necessarily a product of the cylinder head or the ARP head studs in general. Although again, flawed design, we're trying to fix it, but it is still a flawed design. Now, what do I think the actual fix for this is? Well, I think it's O-rings. When they first came out, a lot of people didn't like them. I will say this, a non-O-ring quality head stud job with standard ARP head studs is going to work really well for you guys out there that are doing it. But you need to be meticulous with your work, guys. These are not engines you can slap together. You need to be precise. Things need torqued correctly. Stop over torquing your head studs for no reason. Now, I have one more major gripe with the factory cylinder head design, and that is really that it is horrendous at flow. It's just really bad at it. Again, factory is not looking to have maximum performance across the board. They're looking at their cost per performance, so they're trying to give you a decent performance and keep their costs low, and that's what you really see all over the 6.0 factory cylinder head. Is you see a lot of cost-cutting measures, and you see a lot of it's good enough. So we're going to talk about upgraded options, because obviously I'm a big fan of Kill Devil Diesel. Shout out to those guys and all their support. I do want to talk about my relationship with Kill Devil Diesel. They have given me prices at a discount before. They did send out their icon heads for the new build that's currently happening. Full disclosure. Now, I will say this, I just don't have a lot of negative stuff to say about them, so I don't have any punches to pull, because I think they're a great group of guys. And in my experience, they have made things right. Anytime I've heard of something going wrong, people might still be mad, but they are a good group of guys and they're decent to do business with. So first, they have two different models of cylinder heads for the 6.0 Powerstroke, and we're going to talk about what all of them do, and then we're going to talk about them individually. Sorry, this one's going to be a little long-winded. First, all of them have pressed in valve seats, so the correct way to do it. So we got away from hardening the area around there, leaving it prone to cracking, and we have a pressed in valve seat the way it should have been done correctly from the factory. They are thicker castings. They are brand new. They're not reman. They are brand new castings. They do have a blem section that if you're looking for a bit of a discount, and they're up there, they're not always for sale, but they do have blem sales from time to time, so keep your eyes open if you're looking for a discount. I think typically their iron heads, when they're on the discount section, go for like 1,500 bucks. So that's $800 in savings. Now, some of those are rebuilt, some of those were damaged in shipping. They don't affect the performance, but they're not like a normal cylinder head that is perfect the way you want it. Keep that in mind. Now, the pressed in valve seats is one of the biggest things we need to get reliability out of 6.0 Powerstroke. They also all come O-ringed with everything ready to go. You get this out of the box, you don't have to have it machined, you don't have to mess with it, it's ready to go. So we have the pressed in valve seats, which is arguably one of the biggest reliability issues of the 6.0, and then you have the O-ring in there, again, just increasing reliability. The iron head is not a performance cylinder head. I don't even believe they offer the porting for it anymore. They do offer porting services, so I think you could get it, but that's going to take a $2,300 cylinder head and make it a $3,800, $4,000 cylinder head. We're going to talk about a better option here in just a second, because the aluminum head is vastly superior that they sell, and it's made right here in America. Now, that's basically it for the iron head. It's basically just how much reliability can we get out of this cylinder head, and they do that with the pressed in valve seats and the O-rings. Now, when we move to the aluminum cylinder head, we get also a lot more performance as well out of this. So in the aluminum cylinder head, the new Icon series, which is super cool, I love it, and he did, again, full disclosure, he did send that out to the channel. I had issues with my last build, and He did more than take care of me, is what I can say. He was a great guy to work with, and I fully support everybody over there at Kill Devil Diesel. Now the Icon head, because we've already said it has the pressed-in valve seats, especially because aluminum's much softer than iron, so it would really get beat up if it didn't have those pressed-in valve seats. But we have the O-rings as well. So what do you actually gain is they're completely redesigned. There's a lot of technical stuff I don't know and can't talk about because, well, I don't want to say I'm not smart enough, but I don't know all that information. So the other thing you have is a completely redesigned intake port, meaning where the air travels into the cylinder. So what they found with the iron heads is when you ported them, you could get like a 5 to 6% gain in airflow, but it completely destroyed the swirl of the air in there, which basically they have this worded on their website. Basically, it's the ability for the air to get fuel vapors and mix properly to have a more efficient burn, meaning there's less soot. Some of you guys out there are probably upset about that. Some of you guys out there are probably upset about somebody making sure there's less soot coming out of there, but the things you get in return are better fuel economy and more power, so I think that's a pretty solid trade-off. So what they set out to do is completely redesign the cylinder head, and they have new intake ports. They're much larger, first off, and you can get them ported still. I don't have the ported model, I have the factory cast, but here's the trade-off is the factory cast aluminum Icon series heads are outperforming ported iron heads. And this is why I say there's no reason to get the iron heads ported, because you could, for $3,200, you can buy the new Icon series head, brand new, and it outperform the other cylinder head. Now, if you get it ported, you get even more gains out of this. Again, for street use, I don't know that that's necessary, honestly, but if you're looking for every little bit out of it, you can get it ported, have really good swirl, and still a huge increase in airflow. And it's only about $900 more. Now, $900 is still a lot of money, but in the scheme of things, it's not that much more money on a job this big. I will say this, if you're doing this and you're on a crunch for money, because I know I've been there before, you want to make sure the iron heads are going to be perfect. They're going to give you long life. You're going to be able to get good fuel economy and still good power out of it. Just there are gains on the table is all I'm saying. And I'll say this for a lot of people, I don't know you'd necessarily notice all the performance gains to begin with. If you're running factory turbos, factory injectors, you're probably not going to see anything big to begin with. But if you're looking at bigger injectors, intake manifolds, exhaust manifold, all those things that I've already had done, then there's definitely something on the table. The factory cylinder head doesn't flow very well. There is a small improvement, I believe, with the Kill Devil Diesel iron heads over the original factory, but it's minimal. However, you gain a ton in reliability, so there's still an excellent product. But for everyone out there looking to get the most out of it, you get all the reliability of the iron head. You have a thick deck that is much thicker than the OEM one. Well, I shouldn't say much thicker. It's thicker than the OEM one, and it's got a lot of increase in rigidity, and areas that they felt were weak, there's already upgrades to them to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to and that you get good long life out of them. So me personally, I'm very excited to try these new cylinder heads on the truck. I can't wait for the truck to come back. We have the new cam. It'll drive a little different just to begin with from the cam alone, and we went to a slightly smaller turbo. That video is legitimately coming next. We didn't do the 64mm turbo that I said we were going to because, well, we had a change of plans. But you guys are gonna love it. Stay tuned for that video. It's coming very, very soon, probably early next week. Maybe this weekend, but probably early next week. Also, one other thing I'm gonna try is they now have ported O-Dog intakes that take full benefit of the new Icon series head. So in the future, I'm actually going to get my hands on one of the ported O-Dog intakes that they make. So a ported O-Dog, the port on the O-Dog matches the port on the cylinder head, is what I'm attempting to say. There's also a special intake gasket for that as well. Regardless, it does increase some performance more. Again, I think at this point with the build though, we got BD exhaust manifolds and up pipes. We have the O-Dog ported intake manifold to begin with. So I do think I'm probably not gonna see a huge gain there, but I'm probably still gonna spend that money. Now, some honorable mentions out there though. I do want to say, I think it's Choate Engineering, something like that, is also making some nice products, guys, because I don't want to act like, while Kill Devil Diesel has been a supporter of the channel in some way, I do want to say there's other options out there. I do this with my turbo sponsor as well, to companies that I have no current affiliation with and don't necessarily plan to either. So this isn't something new, guys. I try to be as honest with everyone as possible, and Choate Engineering seems to be, I'm gonna spell it, I don't know if I'm saying it right, I'm gonna put it, it's gonna be here, right here, and I just want to say they're doing nice stuff as well and are worth a look if you're in the market anyway, because I do think options are important. So something to just consider if you're out there shopping, guys. All right, brief recap as fast as I can get through this. Factory heads suck. Reasons being, no Preston valve seats, prone to cracking because they cheaped out, not enough cylinder bolts. Not enough cylinder bolts? Nobody actually fixes that last one. Prone to warping, cracking, all sorts of nonsense. The factory head just sucks. Kill Devil Diesel Iron Head Pros, why you want to buy them for $2,300. They have the O-ring already put in there. They have Preston valve seats the way they should have been done from the factory. Brand new castings that are not going to be nearly as prone to warping or failure as the factory ones. Still same, not world's greatest flow, but good for street use and factory power level flow as the factory nonsense. Kill Devil Diesel Icon Series, I keep messing that up. Icon Series cylinder heads that you want to buy and why you would want them. All the benefits of the iron ones, but with much better flow and swirl, well better than the factory stuff. Also, you can get the ported, don't forget that. Also, can you get good life out of the factory cylinder heads? Yes, you can. I want to be honest with you. You just need to get them rebuilt correctly and you'll probably be relatively happy, but the cost to benefit ratio, in my opinion, isn't there. And if you want better airflow to have a better running truck, Kill Devil Diesel has you set up, guys. Anyway, guys, until the truck comes back, one thing I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start doing like random tidbits like this. I think the next one I'm gonna probably discuss is cams on the 6.0 Powerstroke and what I think of them. Obviously, I have ran the factory 03, which was a little more aggressive than the late 04 through end of production cam. So one of the original upgrades to do is actually to upgrade the factory cam from the later style to the early 03 cam. Not everybody remembers that the cam profile is different in those 2 years. So we ran the Colt Stage 2 cam, and I'm gonna be reviewing the Kill Devil Diesel Stage 2 is what the new build has. I am gonna be selling my Colt Stage 2 in the near future, so stay tuned. All the parts that I can save from the last build, I'm probably going to try to put together a bundle and sell it at a big discount for people, anybody wanting to do their own build. So getting ready to do that at some point as well. So anyway, I hope you like those tidbits. With cams, I can't talk as much about them because I don't know, but I'm really going to talk about my experience driving with them and without them, because literally when I did my original build on my truck, the biggest thing I changed was cam. I still had factory injectors, I still had a factory turbo. We changed just some more aggressive tuning, but I did run a couple different tunes, so I can really talk about that pretty well. So stay tuned for that in the near future, coming up in probably the next 2 weeks, guys. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop your comments down below, guys. What do you think of Kill Devil Diesel cylinder heads, and maybe even some competition if you guys want to drop that down in the comments so everybody can hear what people have had a good experience with or a bad experience with. And I'll see you next time.